Tales from the Crypt. Death of Some Salesmen is a masterclass in dark humor and psychological horror, brilliantly showcasing how everyday human greed and moral compromise can spiral into grotesque consequences. From the very opening scene, the episode captures the mundane monotony of corporate life, yet infuses it with a sense of impending doom that permeates every frame. The protagonist, a morally ambiguous salesman, is depicted with such meticulous attention to detail that his desperation, ambition, and subtle paranoia become almost tangible. The camera work in the office scenes cleverly juxtaposes the sterile, fluorescent-lit cubicles with the personal anguish of the characters, creating a claustrophobic atmosphere that mirrors the internal suffocation of the salesman. Every line of dialogue carries an undercurrent of tension, and the writer's skillful interplay of irony and foreshadowing becomes apparent as small acts of deceit and manipulation accumulate into a web of suspense. One particularly striking scene involves a client meeting in which the salesman employs manipulative tactics, each exaggerated gesture revealing more about his moral erosion than the narrative exposition ever could. This is paired with the soundtrack's eerie undertones, which not only accentuate the unease but almost function as a character in their own right, subtly dictating the audience's emotional response. The episode excels in its character development, moving beyond archetypical horror tropes to examine the psychological complexity of people willing to compromise their ethics for personal gain. The writer's nuanced understanding of human behavior is evident in the small, almost imperceptible cues: a fleeting glance, a nervous smile, a twitching hand, all of which communicate volumes about the character's mental states. In addition, the episode thrives on its clever, almost satirical critique of corporate culture and consumerism, portraying a world where ambition and greed are normalized and ethical boundaries are blurred. There is a particularly memorable moment when the protagonist, in his obsessive pursuit of success, becomes entangled in an escalating series of morally dubious acts, each more absurd than the last. This culmination highlights the series' signature blend of horror and dark comedy, demonstrating that the true terror lies not in supernatural forces but in human weakness and ethical corruption. The climax is executed with a precise sense of timing and narrative rhythm, as the protagonist's choices inevitably lead to ironic, poetic justice. The use of visual metaphors, such as the symbolic collapse of office machinery or the stark emptiness of boardrooms at night, mirrors the internal collapse of the protagonist's moral and psychological state. Beyond the plot mechanics, the episode resonates because it taps into universally recognizable anxieties about professional failure, personal inadequacy, and societal pressures. As a viewer, one cannot help but reflect on the ways in which ambition can subtly erode integrity, and how ordinary decisions, compounded over time, can culminate in catastrophe. From a personal perspective, watching this episode evokes memories of mundane yet stressful professional experiences, heightening the relatability of the narrative and making the horror even more palpable. The brilliance of Death of Some Salesmen lies in its layered storytelling, combining meticulous character work, atmospheric cinematography, satirical social commentary, and darkly comedic horror into a seamless and captivating narrative that continues to linger long after the credits roll. The episode exemplifies the very essence of Tales from the Crypt, reminding audiences that the human mind and human morality are sometimes more terrifying than any ghost or monster.